Hello and welcome to another episode of my Facts and Glitches series, where I continue to showcase more of what I've learned about GTA 5 in my over 14,000 hours of playing the game and from my awesome viewers. In the prologue of GTA 5, there are cut voice lines from Brad and Trevor that show the surveillance room in the security depot was intended to be used.
Hey, we gotta torch the servers, come on. Yeah, I got it.
The faces of the gang were not known to the public, so it makes sense that they would destroy the security footage once Michael's mask was removed. There was even a camera pointed directly at them when this occurred. Using mods to get inside the surveillance room, we can see it has chairs, desks, cabinets, and video equipment, so this idea was likely fully developed in the game, but nevertheless it was removed, despite the plot hole it created. I suspect the reason why is that it just slowed down the pace of the mission. There are 12 cameras inside the Bobcat Security depot in Prologue. All of them are branded with the Gruppe Sechs security company name, which is quite strange, because Bobcat Security and Gruppe Sechs are supposed to be rival security companies in the game. Interestingly, the cameras on the outside the security depot do not have a brand. I suspect someone just made a mistake and placed the wrong cameras inside the building.
You forget 1,000 things every day.
According to the Southern San Andreas Super Autos page in GTA Online, the Bobcat XL is a luxury vehicle. This despite that there is no way to change the fenders, bumpers, hood, or cab. This vehicle is about as luxurious as Trevor's car, which is to say it isn't, so I question if it was defined this way in error. The Canis Bodhi, also known as Trevor's truck, always looks dirty and isn't washable at a car wash. It can however be taken to LS Customs and cleaned there. If you repair the vehicle, a good portion of the sand and dirt is cleaned off. However, there is still some dirty and rusty spots that cannot be removed. In other words, dirt is effectively a permanent feature of this vehicle. The Bodhi was originally planned to tow trailers. It visibly has a tow hitch on the back and an invisible attached model that registers nearby trailers. However, there are no trailers defined in its vehicle data, so the camera will still shift back when a trailer is near the hitch, but the two will never attach successfully. This functionality can be restored by adding trailers to the truck's vehicle data. This was clearly an idea that made it to the later stages of the game's development, but it was ultimately scrapped. If a roll cage with a guard is installed on Trevor's truck, the guard mesh will be invisible when viewed in first person while inside the truck. This is likely done so it doesn't obstruct the player's view. However, if the windscreen is broken, the mesh will be visible. Additionally, in the final cutscene of the Mission Monkey business, this upgrade is completely removed to avoid Trevor clipping through the cage when standing in the truck, which you can best see here when I use mods to put it back.
Thank Michael for the statue, it is exquisite.
Trevor's truck has a surprising mistake. On the back you can see the red lights that are meant to light up when you brake, and the indicator lights for turning that you never use. However, braking with this truck lights up the indicator lights, not the brake lights. Strangely though, if the headlights are turned on, the brake lights will also light up. But regardless, braking still uses the indicator lights. Literally unplayable. In the Southern San Andreas Super Autos website for the Bodhi, there's an obvious reference to Trevor in the description of the vehicle. The Canis Bodhi has traveled the well-trodden path from military to redneck to hipster. This gently used model is the definition of retro chic. Every stain on the seat tells a story. Although I guess as far as Trevor's vehicle is concerned, the stains aren't the only thing that tell a story. Of course, Trevor was once in the Canadian military, he lives in the countryside, and according to Michael, he is a hipster.
You are a hipster! What? You're a hipster. I hate hipsters.
Although I guess in present day he wouldn't drive this vehicle and he doesn't live in the countryside. Ron after all says he's gone all Vinewood, he's a lifestyle coach or a guru or whatever.
That bastard Trev, my best friend, he's supposed to protect me forever, then he goes all Vinewood on me. He's a guru. He's a lifestyle coach. I don't know what he is. I am so alone.
Wearing body armor gives you a secondary health bar that protects you from bullets, falls, and impacts, but it doesn't protect you from melee attacks like punching or stabbing. These ignore any armor and hit directly at your regular health bar.
Whatever, man. Oh, God!
There is a glitch in GTA 5 that makes massive planes like the commercial jet or cargo plane freeze in mid-air. To see this, you need to be inside the plane while it's stationary on land and make a quick save. You simply then load the save file, and the plane will be frozen in the air until the plane eventually falls and you die from the subsequent explosion. Despite that the commercial jet has 4 engines, only the 2 inner engines will catch on fire when the plane takes damage. One small detail that you may never have noticed in GTA 5 is that the commercial jet's passenger windows light up when the plane's engines are turned on. Once the pilot leaves the plane, the engines take around 3 seconds to spool down, and then the lights turn off. Interestingly, these lights also turn on during the daytime, although they're very hard to notice. While piloting the plane, these lights aren't affected if we turn the headlights on or off. Instead, the low beams turn a little light on the tip of the plane on, and the high beams turn on lights on the wings. Surprisingly, these lights are mutually exclusive, so turning one on will turn the other off, although you can turn them both off. Inside the Los Santos airport, there's a burnt fuselage right next to the fire department station. This actually reflects the real-life props that fire departments around the world use to practice putting out fire or rescuing victims. You can even see it in use during the mission Legal Trouble, which has fire trucks around it shooting water at the fire. With that being said, it doesn't seem like this has taught them much, as firefighters don't even care to show up when a plane has caught fire or exploded inside the airport. Inside the Bolingbroke Penitentiary, there are 45 lines that can be heard from the PA speakers. Some are directed inside the prison to the inmates, while others are more general, like when the prison goes under lockdown or when the player loiters around the prison. The most interesting of these lines are,
Blacks on the left, whites on the right, browns down the middle, for your own safety. You can hold your special friend's hand, but that's it. We're operating at 140%, so if we gotta bend the numbers, so be it. No shitting in the yard. Hold it for the bucket in your cell.
It's well known that awful things can happen inside a prison, and GT5's prison is no exception, at least based on the blood-curdling screams that can occasionally be heard coming from within the buildings. If you want to break into prison, GT5's taxi drivers are great for this, as they will fast travel you inside with no questions asked.
Where you headed, homie?
Bolingbroke Penitentiary.
Sure thing, man.
Getting out, on the other hand, is a different story entirely. That they can fast travel in here is a bit strange, because there are many places in the game they simply won't go into, like Fort Zancudo for example. If we take a look at the water tower inside the Bolingbroke prison, we can see the words La Mesa on the side, despite the fact that the prison is not in La Mesa. This reveals that it's a reused asset, and we can see the real water tower in the La Mesa industrial neighborhood. Certain weapons in GT5 and GTA Online have bullet penetration, which allows them to have collateral damage, as long as the targets are right next to each other. The regular sniper, heavy sniper, marksman rifle, Perico pistol, and battle rifle can all hit up to 4 people. The marksman pistol and musket can hit up to 5 people. Lastly, the precision rifle can hit up to 6 or 7 people. For the weapons that have it available, the Mark II upgrades do not affect their level of bullet penetration. Strangely, the marksman rifle with a suppressor can hit 1 more person, but it is the only weapon that changes when it has this attachment. The sniper's magazine can hold up to 10 rounds, however when we look at its real-life counterpart, the Arctic Warfare, it is obvious that its magazine is far smaller than the one we have in the game, but it still holds 10 rounds as well. This comparison shows that realistically the sniper we have in the game should hold double the rounds based on its physical size, as by comparison it significantly sticks out further when fully inserted. The tattoo artist Booney and Spider share the exact same character model and voice.
Welcome, welcome.
The only differences between them are their hairstyles and their tattoos on their arms. Are they meant to be twins, or did a dev get lazy when picking a character model?
Stay put, you lame-ass Mark!
There are 6 booty calls within GTA 5 that involve you calling a woman and going back to her place.
Alright, let's get it on.
Given that 4 of them are strippers and 2 are just women from events, you would assume the strippers would be the easiest, but this is not the case. The strippers each need to be courted at the strip club, as they won't just sleep with anyone. If you have not built up attraction with them, even if you call their number, they will simply not pick up. However, this is not the case with the non-strippers, Ursula and Liz. While we are supposed to meet Ursula in a random event, and Liz after doing a special taxi job, before you even meet them, you can call both of them with any character, at any time, and they will agree to sleep with you at their place.
I'll be waiting for you at the marina.
The lesson here is that strippers have standards in GTA 5. There are only a handful of weapons that can be used underwater. These are the knife, the antique cavalry dagger, and the knuckle duster. The game seems strangely selective, like why can't we use the bottle underwater? It's basically the same size. Once the 5th bounty target has been returned to Maud in GTA Online, the player is told to retrieve a treasure chest that the target stashed somewhere on the map. Once opened, the player is rewarded with a Stone Hatchet. This quest line was meant to be a teaser for the release of Red Dead Redemption 2. Upon killing anything with this weapon, a Rampage effect, similar to Trevor's ability, is granted for a limited time, where the player takes less damage and has faster health regeneration. Getting more kills with the hatchet extends the effect's duration, but once the effect runs out, there is a 1-minute cooldown before it can be activated again. If we stand on a train near the Braddock Pass while having a wanted level, police vehicles will spawn on the train tracks and consequently get crushed. This glitch only happens in this particular section of the tracks. The 2015 Ill-Gotten Gains Part 2 update for GTA Online was the last update where all the content was also added into GTA 5 single player. Subsequent updates had all their content exclusive to GTA Online. Prior to this point, as Online got updated, vehicles like the Coil Brawler were made available for free. You just had to go to one of the purchasable garages and select it from the special vehicles list. On the Xbox 360 and PlayStation 3 version, there were 39 vehicles available, but this list has done nothing but dwindle with subsequent releases of the game. For PlayStation 4, Xbox One, and PC Legacy, there are 7 vehicles, these being the Space Docker, which is made available by collecting all the Spaceship Park collectibles, the Elegy RH8, which is added when your account is connected to Rockstar's social club, and lastly the 5 returning player bonus vehicles that once required you to have moved from old gen to new gen, but now everyone has them available if they beat the stock car races. This is also the same for the most recent release of the game, the enhanced version on PlayStation 5, Xbox Series, and PC. The boat trailer can spawn with a dinghy or some sea sharks on top, but they are purely aesthetic as they can't be detached or used. Surprisingly though, Rockstar specifically programmed it so we're unable to fall off while it's being driven. Additionally, the Seminole, Rancher XL, and BJ XL would be able to tow the trailer according to the game's files, however they lack the necessary towing hitch to do so. I think it's safe to say that they were planned to get tow hitches, but the idea was scrapped. So that's it for this episode. If you think you know of anything that would be of interest to this series, feel free to add it to my Discord. Also, much of the information for this episode came from GTA.wiki. Make sure to avoid the fandom website version as it is no longer being updated. If you want reliable GTA information, GTA.wiki is the place to go. Thank you for watching, I hope you're all doing well.